Thank you very much, Benita. And thank you all for coming out Saturday night, Salt Lake City. Get a little boost here. Few issues with this laptop, and so no slideshow today until I can consult with a Mac expert who also knows Keynote. Our topic today is reversal of fortune. We all face times. We feel like we're at a disadvantage. Other people have more experience. They have more qualifications, more resources. Seems like they get the good breaks. They get the best positions. And it's easy to feel overwhelmed, overlooked, and left out. One friend told me how at work, people take everyone's opinion except for his. They see him as secondary, too young, not much to offer. But it's said in Scripture, the last will be first. How is that? Because Krishna, or God, He knows how to reverse the order. He loves to promote people who are not next in line, to take those who are overlooked, discounted, and push them into their destiny. One shift, one good break, and you'll go from being overlooked to being in charge, from being left out to leading, from being disrespected to being honored. So don't get discouraged if you're the last, so to speak, because you're in perfect position for Krishna to show out in your life. Being the last is a setup. Being discounted, left out, is not how your story ends. A reversal is coming. What looks permanent is only temporary. Right now it looks like others have the upper hand. Others have the advantage. But what Krishna has purposed for your life cannot be stopped. He didn't create you to live at a disadvantage. He didn't breathe life into you to go around being overlooked. He didn't crown you with favor for you to be discounted. Yes, we all go through seasons where these things happen. But our message today is don't start thinking it's permanent. Don't start accepting it as the norm. Why? Because there's going to be a reversal for those who keep Lord first place. A shift where suddenly Krishna or God catapults you from the back to the front, from borrowing to lending, from business slow to business booming, from no customers to get in line, we're in overflow. Don't judge your situation prematurely. A reversal is coming, something uncommon for those who keep the Lord first place. You couldn't have made it happen on your own. People who were against you are now suddenly for you. They wouldn't give you the time of day before, but now they look up to you. Now, your marriage, it looked too far gone. You'd given up, but suddenly your marriage is restored. A reversal. You thought your business was done. The pandemic set you back. Then one shift, one special client, and suddenly things are stronger than ever before. Now, get into agreement with God. No more moping around. I'll never get ahead. Nobody ever gives me the time of day. How can I break out, Caru? Look at my background. Look how I was raised. No, turn it around. Father, Krishna, thank you that a reversal is coming. Thank you that you're shifting things in my favor. That what was meant for my harm, you're turning to my advantage. And I'll come out of this difficulty stronger, healthier, more promoted, honored. Don't live with a victim mentality, a lack mindset. I'm overlooked. I'm at a disadvantage. It's just my lot in life. Can I tell you what your lot in life is? It is to excel, to be the head and not the tail. You may be the tail now, but that's temporary. A reversal is coming. You're meant to be above and not beneath. You may be beneath now, but above is on the way. Good breaks, divine connections, favor that will catapult you from the last to the first. The good news is you don't have to work hard, force things to make it happen. Strive, manipulate people, force doors to open. Just keep honoring God. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Doing the right thing when it's hard, being good to people who are not being good to you. Keep smiling, praising, thanking Krishna. You just do your part, and Krishna is going to do his part. Because promotion doesn't come from people, promotion comes from God. He lifts one up, he sets another one down. He sees how his devotees are overlooked, discounted, not treated fairly, going through some bad breaks. Thoughts are beginning to knock on the door. You'll never get ahead, never accomplish your dream, never have respect and honor. Don't believe those lies. The God we serve knows how to give you a reversal of fortune. You should have been defeated. You should have lived struggling, but a reversal took place. You went from the back to the front, from being overlooked to being honored, from struggling to succeeding. It may not have happened yet, but your time is coming. Your reversal is already on the way. We read in the Srimad Bhagavatam that 5-year-old Dhruva Maharaj was neglected, overlooked, dismissed by his own father and stepmother Surichi. The king, Uttanapada, had 2 wives. The first wife was Suniti, the second wife and younger wife was Suruchi. Now the king was too attached to his second younger wife, so he minimized his affection for his son by his senior wife, Dhruva Maharaj. And one day, all Dhruva wanted to do was just get up on the lap of his father. And his stepmother cruelly prevented him from doing so by saying, Tapasaraja Purusha Tashava Garba Chamsana Yadi Chashish Nimashana. She said this to her stepson, imagine, cruelly. If Dhruva, you at all desire to rise to the throne of your father, you have to do severe austerity. First of all, you must satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And then, when you are favored by him because of such worship, you shall have to take your next birth from my womb. Ruchi was so envious of her stepson, Dhruva, that she indirectly asked him to change his body. According to her, first of all, he had to die, then take his next body in her womb, and only then would it be possible for Dhruv to ascend to the throne of his father. The good news is that our destiny does not depend on people, does not depend on who likes us, who believes in us, who thinks we're talented. That's how we get stuck. Because there will always be people who discount you, who leave you out. Sometimes they're intimidating. They don't want you to pass them up. They're jealous. They don't want your gifts to shine, and so they try to push you down. That makes them look better. But the good news is, people don't control your destiny. The Most High God is ordering your steps. He's working out his plan for your life. Dhruva, feeling somewhat hopeless and rejected, banished himself to the forest. There in the forest, he met his spiritual master, the great sage Narada Muni. Narada Muni taught him to render devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, beginning by the chanting of the Lord's holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Within 6 months, Dhruva Maharaj factually saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. And the Lord fulfilled all of Dhruva's desires. His revengeful attitude towards his stepmother and stepbrother was satisfied. His desire for a material kingdom had totally disappeared from his heart. But because he had prayed for it, Krishna gave Dhruva the opportunity, and this is in a previous age where people lived much longer, to rule the material world for 36,000 years with unchangeable senses and the chance to perform many sacrifices and become the most renowned king of his day. And then, after finishing with all of his material enjoyment, Krishna arranged that Dhruva would be promoted along with his mother to the spiritual world, which included a planet named after him, Dhruva Loka. This planet is also called the pole star, situated above the seven planetary systems. This is a spiritual Vishnu planet within the material world and is worshipped by all the other planetary systems. The pole star had existed before its occupation by Dhruva, but it had no predominating deity. This Dhruva Loka, or pole star, is the center for thousands and thousands of other stars and planets, all of which circle around the pole star just as bulls circle around a mill and crush grains by walking around a central pole. Dhruva wanted the kingdom of his father and more, and although it was a childish prayer, the Lord satisfied his demand, just like a father satisfies the immature demands of his young child. Child may demand something from his father, which his father has never before given to anyone else, and yet out of affection, the father offers it to the child. Similarly, this unique planet, eternal spiritual planet within this material world, was offered to Dhruva Maharaj by Krishna, his loving family. Now, like Dhruva, you may have family members, father, mother, cousins, uncles, who don't believe in you, who look down on you. You may have co-workers who don't give you the time of day. And it's easy to be offended. Want to get in there, fight with them, try to prove to them who you are, prove that you have something to offer. But can I tell you, it's not your battle. Just keep honoring the Lord, doing the right thing, and your Narada Muni will show up. When it's your time, promotion will come looking for you. Vindication, honor, respect will come knocking on your door. Dhruva didn't go looking for Narada. He didn't say, Narada, come, anoint me, man. I'm talented. I'm qualified. He didn't start a campaign, elect me as the next king. He didn't go debate three other candidates. He knew Krishna was ordering his steps and ordering the people into his life that he needed. Well, similarly, can I tell you, Krishna has already lined up your Narada Munis. Things you couldn't happen will happen and take you from the last to the first, from the background to the foreground. The good breaks, the right people, the ideas, these are shifts that will suddenly cause people to see you in a new light. Suddenly, a door opens. Suddenly, things shift in your favor. What am I saying? Krishna knows how to take you from the back to the front. He knows how to send people who will use their influence to honor you, to give you new levels of respect and credibility. In other words, to reverse your fortunes. Presently, you may feel at a disadvantage, limited by your environment, how you were raised, by what you didn't get, by who's not for you. Stay encouraged. A reversal is coming. Krishna loves to take the overlooked and cause them to shine, to take those that have been discounted and put them in positions of honor, respect, and influence. That's why it's said the last will be first. The discounted will be celebrated. The ignored will be admired. Now, one thing, Dhruva kept a good attitude when he wasn't being treated right. Key is not to get bitter. Krishna, why does everyone leave me out? This isn't fair. Dhruva just kept doing the right thing, honoring the Lord, chanting his holy name, because deep down he understood this principle. I may be the neglected son of a cruel mother. I may be discounted, seen as not talented, but I know a shift is coming. I know a reversal is on the way. I know that what Krishna put into my heart will come to pass. I read this story on the internet from an anonymous source. The man wrote, the pickle jar, as far as I remember, sat on the floor beside my dresser in my parents' bedroom. When he got ready for bed, Dad would empty his pockets and toss loose coins into the jar. As a small boy, I was always fascinated by the sounds the coins made as they were dropped into the jar. They landed with a merry jingle when the jar was almost empty, and the tones gradually muted to a dull thud as the jar was filled. I used to squat on the floor in front of the jar and admire the copper and silver circles that glinted like a pirate's treasure. And when the jar was filled, Dad would sit at the kitchen table and roll the coins before taking them to the bank. Taking the coins to the bank was always a big production. Stacked neatly in a cardboard box, the coins were placed between Dad and me on the seat of his old truck. And each and every time we drove to the bank, Dad would look at me hopefully, say, these coins are going to keep you out of the textile mill, son. You're going to do better than me. This old mill town's not going to hold you back. And each and every time, as he slid the box of rolled coins across the counter at the bank toward the cashier, he would grin proudly. These are for my son's college fund. He'll never work at the mill like I. We always celebrated each deposit by having an ice cream at the ice cream parlor. And when the clerk brought the ice cream and handed it to Dad, he would show me the few coins of change nestled in his palm and say, when we get home, we'll start filling the jar again. He always let me drop the first coins into the empty jar. As they rattled around with a brief, happy jingle, we always used to grin at each other. You'll get to college, son, on pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, but you will get there. I'll see to that. Years passed. I finished college, took a job in another town, married, bought a house with my wife. Once, when visiting my parents, I used the phone in their bedroom and noticed that the pickle jar was gone. It had served its purpose and been removed. A lump rose in my throat as I stared at the spot beside the dresser where the jar had always stood. My dad was a man of few words and never lectured me on the values of determination, perseverance, and faith. The pickle jar had taught me all those virtues far more eloquently than the most flowery of words could ever have. Stay faithful in the silent seasons. Stay faithful when you're denied getting on your Father's lap. Keep being your best when nobody's giving you credit, when you're being overlooked. People may not see you, but Krishna, your Heavenly Father, sees you. Every time you pass a test, overlook an offense, take the high road, Krishna puts money in the pickle jar. And He's the one that matters. He controls the universe. He sends the Narada Munis. He moves kings around like pawns. He opens doors no one can shut. One shift, and you'll go from being overlooked to being celebrated, to someone no one's paying attention to having your own planet, from being in the dungeon to living in the palace. Some of you might have heard of the novel by Victor Hugo, Les Miserables. So after spending the night as the guest of the bishop, Jean Valjean stole the silver forks and spoons from the rectory and slipped out over the back garden wall. When he was apprehended and dragged back by the police, not only did the bishop tell the police that he'd gifted the silver to Jean Valjean, but that he had meant for him to take 2 additional silver candelabras as well, and he handed them over to him in front of the police. So naturally, the police released him and left. And the bishop said to Jean Valjean, who was trembling in every part of his body, now go in peace. Do not forget, never forget, that you have promised to use this money in becoming an honest man. Jean Valjean didn't have any recollection of ever having promised anything. He remained speechless in the face of this generosity. The bishop went on, Jean Valjean, my brother, you no longer belong to evil, With this silver, I've bought your soul. I've ransomed you from fear and hatred, and now I give you back to God. Jean Valjean, an ex-convict with a yellow passport, which meant he had no hope and no future, received grace at the time of his greatest need. The bishop took a risk, and in doing so, Jean Valjean's life was changed. He received a real reversal of fortune, became a new man. The rest of the novel is about him trying to live up to that image of God and the example that the bishop had set him in the midst of all the turmoil of life, and a revolution, in fact, and as well as his past catching up to him. Because of that reversal of fortune brought about by a chance encounter with the bishop, he was blessed beyond belief. Didn't mean that he wouldn't have problems in his life. There were many, many problems, just like we have problems in our lives. But that did not stop him from being blessed beyond belief. Sometimes Krishna will, on purpose, let the odds be against you. He'll let you be in over your head, at the back of the line. People discounting. Can I tell you? It's a setup. That's a sign that a reversal is coming. Krishna loves to take the unqualified and cause them to excel, to take those that people disregard and cause them to shine. When Krishna is ready to promote you, he'll cause rules to bend, policies to change, bishops to lie on your behalf. It's not bound by natural laws, by policies. He can change people's minds. He can cause your enemies even to want to be good for you. They don't even know why. It's God shining His favor on you, pushing you into your purpose because you've been faithful, honoring Him by chanting His holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna is saying to you, I'm about to take the last and make them the first. I'm going to take those that are overlooked and cause them to be seen. Those that had bad breaks, that are a disadvantage, and put them in positions of influence with honor, resources, and abundance. Things are about to shift. It's going to happen suddenly. It's going to be out of the ordinary. A reversal in that sickness. Suddenly, health improves. A reversal in that relationship. It was falling apart. It suddenly gets better. Or how about a reversal in your finances? New clients, new opportunities, blessings chasing you down. Krishna is doing a new thing, taking you from borrowing to lending, from being down at the bottom, overlooked, to being promoted, honored. Get ready for some reversals. Well, Caru, I'm just hoping to make it through this year. Man, gas prices, inflation, the pandemic. Not me, sir. I'm expecting to have an abundant year, a bountiful year, a favor-filled year. Krishna is about to shift things. It's going to be something never seen, something that will make my mind go tilt, 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 something I didn't see coming. Instead of paying rent, I'm going to be owning property. Instead of working for others, you're going to be owning your own business. Instead of struggling to make ends meet, there's going to be a surplus, an overflow. Well, Caru, I don't see how that can happen. Well, you don't have to see it. All you have to do is believe it. Father, thank you that you're a God who reverses the order, a God who can make the last first. Krishna, I thank you for doing what only you can do, taking me where I cannot go on my own. Now, we may not see how our situation can change, how Krishna could reverse the trouble, restore the marriage, replenish the finances. Doesn't look possible in the natural. But Krishna is a supernatural God. He has ways that you've never thought of. Don't do like others and talk yourself out of your miracle. Be a believer and not a doubter. Krishna knows how to reverse things. What you're up against may look insurmountable, permanent. Your thoughts will tell you that I'll always struggle, I'll never get ahead, I'll never be healthy, I'll never meet the right person. No. There's about to be a divine reversal, a supernatural shift in your finances, in your children, in your health, in your relationships. In 1981, my wife Bai and I were serving in the Los Angeles temple. It's the first property in America which Prabhupada purchased. It's got the largest number of devotees. The standard of deity worship is unbelievable. Los Angeles, of course, as you know, is one of the most prominent cities in the world. Vi and I had an important service there. We were management level. Yet some or other, when I expressed a desire to preach in Utah, it was misunderstood to mean that I wanted to decrease my service, leave the greater field of Los Angeles and go into semi-retirement. I was cautioned to give up those plans. I was told by the overall leader there, Caru, Los Angeles is big time. Utah is small time. The word started going out that my going to Utah was a way of discreetly leaving the missionary field, gradually giving up my service to Prabhupada. And I don't blame anybody. I understood how nobody else, even fellow devotees, could know what Krishna had put into my heart. At any rate, there began to be less respect. There was a general cooling of relationships. People started to write us off in their minds as serious devotees. And for a few years after we arrived in Utah, it must have further seemed like we dropped off the map. We didn't have resources, money, friends, fellow devotees in the area. We were starting from the ground up, and it took many long years of patience, perseverance. Every time we passed a test, kept on keeping on, Krishna put ding, 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 some more coins in the pickle jar. And when in 2001, 21 years after leaving the Los Angeles temple, we announced the opening of the most beautiful temple in North America, people couldn't believe it. Many devotees thought that Bai and I had come back from the dead. And we hadn't retired after all, but we've been focused on moving forward all that time, raising funds, making friends, organizing festivals, building community relations. What was written off in 1980 became the pride and joy of Krishna missionary work in North America. We went from the back to the front. Earlier this year, over Memorial Day weekend, the Spanish Fort Temple was chosen by Indraduna Maharaj to host the largest annual gathering of Hare Krishna devotees in North America. The Sadhu Sangh retreat drew 1,500 devotees from throughout the USA for 4 days of chanting, prasadam, and association. To accommodate all the devotees who were here, there were 700 motel rooms occupied in Spanish Fort and Provo. Can I tell you, Krishna knows how to reverse things. What looks permanent, what seems unlikely. One touch of God's favor and suddenly things shift. Suddenly your dreams come to pass. Suddenly that temple opens. Suddenly people show up at your door. Krishna is also about to reverse things in your life as well. Narada is going to show up looking for you. Your Indradumna Swami is going to reserve a retreat, so to speak. The bishop will write off the silver. The people you need to shift you into your destiny, they are being moved into place. It's a new day. Krishna is doing a new thing. Every force that's trying to stop his devotees is being broken. And you're the one who's going to see the reversal. You're going to set new standards. You're going to step into new levels. You're going to go places that no one in your community has gone before. Krishna has not forgotten about you. You may have been pushed down, left out, feel like you're at the very back for a season. If Dhruva Maharaj were here today, he would say to you, stay encouraged. Krishna knows how to reverse things. Dhruva went from being looked down on, despised, not valuable, to being honored, respected, influential. Krishna is about to reverse the discrimination, reverse the shame, reverse the disrespect. You wouldn't even be hearing this tonight if he hadn't intended to shift some things. I believe, like with Dhruva, like with Jean Valjean, like with myself and Vi, Krishna is going to take you, his loyal devotees, from the background to the foreground, from being overlooked to being in charge, from being left out to leading. New doors are about to open, promotions coming, healing is coming, breakthroughs are coming in this life, and in the next life, you'll go back to home Back to God. Thank you very much for your kind attention. If you receive any part of this message, raise your hands with me and say together, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You have to come up a little closer. You want to ask everyone to stand up? Yep. Let me ask them to stand up. Oh. Can everyone please stand up? Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, there's a lot of time left. There's a lot of time left. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Stay medium, stay medium. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitya Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo, Nitya Gaura Haribo, Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.